Yeah, just talk about how 2017 is going for you. You got this Sinclair Oil on board, so just talk about how the season is going. What are your thoughts?
It's been interesting so far. I mean, the Sinclair thing has been absolutely awesome. That's been something that me and my dad and my fiance were actually able to put together, the three of us, just basically by cold calling them. I mean, we put that sponsorship together the old-fashioned way and worked on that for about a year before we ever got them on a car last year in Kansas, and everything we've done with them since then has been really, really exciting and a lot of fun. This is their first venture into motorsports, and it's a new experience for them, new experience for all their customers, and everyone seems to love the way the car looks, and so that makes it a lot of fun for me. We get great fan feedback, and so that makes it a lot of fun. And really, it's what I look forward to coming to the track for. I love coming and driving, but working with Sinclair and representing Sinclair is really kind of the pride of being here for me every weekend.
Yeah, did they bring you back into racing? Did you feel like you were maybe out of it for a little bit, and when they jumped on board, you were able to really get back into it?
I mean, I was all but done. I mean, I spent, I haven't raced anything consistently for the last 4 years. 2013 was the last time I raced full time, and I didn't race anything in 2016 except for that one ARCA race. It was just one ARCA race there at Kansas, and fortunately things went really, really well, had a good result, and things went really well for Sinclair, and so they gave me the opportunity to do 5 more of these races here this year, and then I got the opportunity out west to run the K&N West deal with Bob Bruncati and the Sunrise Ford team. So out of nowhere, I went from racing nothing to what's going to be a 19 race schedule this year, which is pretty cool. And it does. It all comes from Sinclair giving me the opportunity at Kansas, and then staying on board and giving me the chance to stay relevant.
Right. What was that time like? Being out of the car. You raced in Xfinity. You were pretty high up there, and then out of nowhere, you're out of it. So, just what was that time like?
At first, it was hard. I mean, there was a time that I went through where I thought it was the end of the world if I wasn't driving a race car. That was all I'd ever done. It was all I'd ever thought about doing. I was one of those kids that graduated high school and thought I was going to be a race car driver, so I wasn't focused on racing. And when the end of 2013 came around and there was nothing left, I mean, it was really, really hard. It was really hard to grasp that, but because it was so hard, I kind of went out on my own to figure out how could I do it again. And I went out on my own to learn marketing and to learn sponsorship, and starting to put sponsorship deals together on my own, and learned all through trial and error. And so maybe it's tough to say, but maybe being out of the car for a little while was a good thing. It inspired me to go back to school. I'm in school now working on getting my business administration degree. I've got a big passion for marketing, and so much more of a passion for what all it takes to be a race car driver and to get the opportunity to race every single weekend. And I never would have had that if I didn't have to spend time outside the car.
Yeah, so how much did you really learn about how important sponsorship is, being out of the car, and now you're back?
Yeah, a massive amount. Like I said, if it wasn't for Sinclair, I wouldn't be here right now. And so if I want to drive, sponsorship is going to be everything. So it's when you're sitting outside of a car and you're watching people race every weekend that you've raced against and that you've beat, and you know that you can still go do it physically on the track. You just have the chance to get there, but no one cares about that more than you do, or more than I did. And once I realized that fueled a lot of me getting out there and searching for sponsors on my own, and again realizing that no one was really going to work on my behalf to put sponsorship together. It gave me so much more motivation to go out and do it myself and to get it done.
Yeah. So obviously there's kids in this series, they kind of get in, they have family behind them, they get a sponsorship early. They're young, they're only, 16, 17 years old. Do you have any opinions about that? Obviously you've been through those tough times, and not every driver has done that, but you have.
Well, I mean, my dad was able to fund my racing up through 2013, through my first couple of years at K&N. Last year I had a little bit of help from my team owner, and I'd be a hypocrite if I said that, it's not good to be self-funded or any of this, because there's a lot of kids that, the majority, 99% of the kids out here are, and you're going to have to be to some point. You got to start somewhere. It's going to be near impossible to go get a sponsor if you don't have any results or any on-track stuff to talk about to begin with. And so I think you got to start somewhere, but it's a little bit, my problem with it a little bit is when you're paying your way to run trucks, or you're paying your way to run the Xfinity or the National NASCAR Series. This is a marketing tool, and it's a good marketing tool if it's used correctly and by bringing your own money in and not supporting sponsors or giving sponsors free space on the car because you're funding it out of your pocket, well, you're taking away the sponsorship portion of it and the part that makes this a business opportunity for a lot of people, and that hurts, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We, sponsors thrive off other sponsors, business-to-business opportunities, meeting each other in the garage, coming up with ideas. That's how NASCAR worked all through the 2000s, and it's important that it still works. And so we need legitimate sponsors to keep this world going and to keep racing going, because there's going to come a time where if everyone's just doing it out of their own pocket, first off, that's not sustainable for a tremendous amount of time. And second off, it's just gonna wear out. It's just, you can't have something where there's no real sponsors left. It's not gonna work.
Right. And NASCAR used to not always be like that. It used to, talent would get you in, but these days, do you see it as maybe a positive, because you're learning so much more having to deal with sponsors? You're learning how to treat people, and do you see that as a positive as the sport has changed?
For me, for sure. But like I said, it's changed my life because I've had to go out and figure out how to get sponsors and how to keep sponsors. I mean, it's improved every aspect of my life, off the track and on the track, and made me realize how hard we have to work for this. And I think it's very, very important for kids to understand. I mean, the reality of this is not that, and it should not be, that your parents can just pay your way through the entire time. This is not realistic, and frankly, I feel like you need to learn those skills. You need to learn the marketing skills. You need to learn the personality skills. That's what's going to help the sport as a whole grow. And what I'm saying may sound kind of harsh, but it's what I believe. I think that it's really important that I think that NASCAR has the opportunity to be the best sports marketing venue. I really do. I think that the business-to-business opportunities are huge. I think the exposure still has the potential to be really, really big. But I think we all need to kind of realize that and recapture it. And like you said, there was a time when talent could get you right in, and all the teams had great marketing success, but the price has gotten higher. People don't have as much to spend out of marketing dollars these days, and it's kind of brought everything to a point where it's got to be funded by someone. The team's not just going to dip into their pockets because the sponsors may not necessarily be there. And so who are they going to take? This kid over here who may have won 10 of his 20 races last year, this kid who hasn't run all that great but can bring the check. Well, it's a business. At the end of the day, you're not going to lose money running your business, right? And so that's why you've seen a lot of that.
Is it different in Xfinity or K&N, or is it just all the same, just a bigger stage?
It's all the same. Bigger stage. I mean, Cup still has a lot of big sponsors in there, a lot of Fortune 500 companies, and Xfinity does. They have a lot of good sponsors and kids that have legitimate sponsors and rides that are being filled, but
I think we want to be careful in the way that we're talking, just to like a little more upbeat.
Sorry, I mean, I'm just answering truthfully. That's what I've gone through, and it's my opinion about it. It's the truth, but you can taper it down a little bit. But
it's great for me.
That's the truth of it. Like I said, it's got every bit of potential to be a phenomenal sports marketing venue. We all just have to remember that we have to have the sponsors. They have to, and we all have to be working on the sponsors' behalf.
And let's jump to the competition side. You on the racetrack. You're back in the West Series. It's been 3 or 4 years, and you're doing pretty good there. That Gillen kid is kicking tail, but you're doing your best, right?
Yeah, and it's fun. It's different for me, going back to the short tracks. A lot of tracks that I've raced before, but I just haven't been on a short track in 4 years, and so it's been a little bit difficult to get reacclimated to that. And Gillen, he's a great driver. He's got great equipment. Those kids are fast, and so we've been able to make up some ground. We ran in the top 3 the most of the night at Orange Show. Our last race until we got a flat tire. We were able to finish 3rd at Irwindale, which was a great run, and we've gotten closer and closer to those guys. So after missing the first event of the year, we've rebounded to 10th place in points, and we've been able to run in the top 5 every race. Haven't finished there, and that's kind of the goal, is to finish in the top 5 every race out there. But definitely made progress on it, and just have a great opportunity that Bob Rincati has given me to drive his stuff, because he's an infamous owner in the West Series. He's won a couple championships, won a lot of races, and to get the opportunity to drive his stuff and work with his guys, who are guys that I knew back in 2012 and 2013, it's been really, really cool. I've been really fortunate to have that opportunity.
So now you kind of, I guess there's no clashes between ARCA and K&N West. Obviously you got more ARCA races coming up for this year. So what's the schedule like?
Right. We've been able to work it so that all the ARCA races I've run won't conflict. This was going to be the tightest one, with me having to fly to Colorado tomorrow morning But we'll finish out the West season there, and then as far as ARCA goes, we'll be at Iowa, we'll be at Lucas Oil Raceway Park, and at Kansas.
Yeah. So what's your goal? Do you want to get back? I'm guessing you want to get back into Xfinity Cup Series. Is that ultimate goal? Is it for you? No,
not really. Surprisingly, no, it's not.
Why not?
It's kind of a bunch of different reasons. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't turn down the opportunity. I would love the opportunity to race at that level. But for me, I try to keep my goals really realistic, and my goal is to take Sinclair to the level where it benefits them most as a business partner, and to kind of grow my relationship with them and my partnership with them, and to make business sense out of everything that we do. And I would love to be like a Matt Crafton and go race trucks and make a living off doing that. I love the truck series. The truck series is my favorite thing to watch. I would love to be out there and be a part of that, and that's, if you were to ask me what my goal was, that would be a kind of a dream to make it to that level. But for right now, my goal is to go weekend by weekend and perform the best that I can, but also continue learning the business side of this, and continuing doing things off the track that are important to me, and from a household standpoint, and away from the race car, keep building my knowledge and relationships.
Yeah. Final question: do you think that's the best way, the best mentality to have as a race car driver? You speak to so many of them; they say, "I'm going to go up the Cup. I want to win every race." But you seem more realistic. Is that the better approach?
I don't know if it's the better approach, but it's my approach. I've gone through a lot of years outside of a race car and know the ins and outs of the sport and the politics of this industry as well as anybody out there, I feel like. So I just try and keep my expectations realistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely appreciate your time.
No problem, man.
Best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.